Hey guys, glad you're here. I'm Tay. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 mom hacks that I really am so happy that I figured out, and if I can save you some time, that's what I'm here for. Let's get into them. So the first tip is something super simple, and it's just something that it took me a lot longer than you would think to figure it out, and that is once your baby starts playing with toys, they pretty soon after that will discover how to throw toys. I mean, if not at the exact same time. So, one of the things that we figured out how to do is to take your pacifier clips, take the pacifier off, and attach them to the toys. So then you can just clip the toy to them, clip the toy to the car seat, to the stroller, whatever the case may be, and then they will not be able to throw them. This was so nice when we were going, grocery shopping, doing whatever. I could just clip the toy to her, and I didn't have to check every 5 seconds to make sure that she didn't throw the toy. It's also really nice during church because you can give them a toy and not have to worry that they're going to throw it and hit the person in front of them. Aurora has hit the person in front of us with the toy before, and it was mortifying. Luckily, it's a small church where we know everybody, and she just laughed about it, but clip the toy to the baby, and then you don't have to worry about it. The second tip also is along the same lines of toys, and that is to have your toys on a toy rotation. So originally we just had all of Aurora's toys just in the living room, all access all the time, and it was like after she had something for a day or two, all of a sudden she just wasn't as interested. She got bored and just didn't really like any of them anymore. So what we would do is we would put some of them in the nursery, or put specific toys in the diaper bag, and then after a certain amount of time we would bring them back out. Usually about a week worked really well for us, and we would do the same with her books. When she got into her books, we still do that with books actually. Then it just, if there's certain toys for certain locations, then she just won't get as bored as fast, and it just gives her the opportunity to kind of forget about it, and then it's new and exciting again, and then you don't have to constantly feel like you need to be buying them new things. They can just appreciate the ones that they have more. Next tip actually has to do with once your baby starts eating food. And the first tip is that if you get the silicone plates, which I absolutely love them, but they suction to the high chair or the table or whatever the case may be, if you get the bottom of it just a little wet, they will stick 20 times better than if you just try to stick it to the table without doing that. It's just something that's super easy, super helpful. I know there were a lot of them that I'm like, well, these are kind of junk, they don't stick very well. But as soon as I start getting them a little bit wet, and I'm not saying dripping, I'm saying take a washcloth or a wet cloth or even a baby wipe and just go around the bottom, stick it down, and then they won't move, and it makes it so much better, especially once your baby realizes that they can pick up the plate and throw it, and it's just so much better. Next tip is also with food, and it actually has to do with if you are feeding your baby baby food and you want to make your own baby food. And I know that this process seemed very overwhelming to me at the beginning, and even though I ended up doing jarred baby food for a little while, very minimal though, because Aurora didn't really like it for very long. I couldn't get her to eat it after a couple weeks, maybe a month. But when I was doing homemade baby food at the beginning, I actually found out that the easiest way that I found to do it was to just buy a steamable bag of vegetables, whatever vegetable I wanted to be introducing, and I would steam it in the microwave, and then after that I would actually put it in my Ninja Bullet blender, and I would blend it all up, and then it was baby food. Sometimes I would add a little water, and with green beans, I think it was green beans, I added a little bit of olive oil, and by a little bit I mean a little bit, a few drops, just to give it a creamier consistency. And then not only is it an easy way to make your own baby food, but you actually have a lot to last you for multiple meals. So when our doctor told us to put her on solids, we were supposed to give her the same thing for 3 days to make sure that she wasn't allergic to it, try to get her used to solids. And so just you didn't even have to do the whole bag of steamables, but just doing it that one time and you have all your meals. So I actually bought this on Amazon, and it is silicone. It has a lid, and these are silicone cups that you can put all of the baby food in, and then you can just like pop them out one by one when you need them. And I actually found this very useful, and I just really liked it. It was something simple and an easy way to make my own baby food and not get crazy overwhelmed with how to do it, and also to not pay to get something that did it for me. I mean, it was very easy to just blend it up in that, and to using a Steamable, I didn't have to worry about having the fresh vegetables and cooking them to the right temperature or making sure they were soft enough. Like, the Steamables just made them all perfect, and then it was just easy to blend, and I could have a week's worth of baby food in like 8 minutes. So, pro tip. The last mom hack that I'll be giving you today is that when your baby is eating food and gets a little bit more independent, I've found that the best way to make sure that Aurora eats enough is to do kind of a combination of her feeding herself and me feeding her. That's just what's worked best for us. And what I've found is that she really wants to be able to use silverware and to feed herself, but she hasn't quite figured it out. So she will like scoop in her food and not get anything on it and then try to eat it. So what I started doing is I give her her own spoon while she's eating, but then I will sit there with my own spoon and feed it to her. And that way she's not constantly like fighting with me like that she wants to feed herself, because she still has the opportunity to, because she has the spoon in her hand, but yet I'm there making sure that she actually is getting the bites. And it's just something that's easy for us. And if I don't give her the spoon, she is constantly, every single bite, she wants to take it from me, and as soon as she takes it, it falls off, and it takes like an hour and a half to feed her a meal. So I just hand her the spoon. She can take the bites or pretend to be doing it, and then it also helps because she sees you doing it, and it kind of shows her what to do at the same time. But that's just what's been working for us. Those are 5 mom hacks that have really changed the game for us, and I hope they're helpful for you. See you next time.